As we follow behind him and the tight ends, Rondale Moore, not much of a block. We spin off and break the tackle again. Jackson looking to throw, waiting, but here comes the hit. It's Sheldon Rankin. See how much that comes back to bite us as they say touchdown. We should have had that with Jacobs. I'll take it here as Williams dives in. He gets another. Maybe the secondary as Levis throws the pick. I was coming in not expecting a whole lot from this team, but that kind of performance, great. 18-7, I was looking at the 4. They hand it off down the middle, and that's a very quick score from J.K. Dobbins. As we go with a read option, and he splits the defense. Great block downfield. 2 solid performances. Offense, they've made plays when they've needed to have it. Defense has done exactly the same. And if you were impressed with a 2-0 record, how about 3-0? Though unfortunately, do have to say after this game, we would see our first humbling experience. The Rams would destroy us. 42-24. And following such a hot start by the Kentiana state-only challenger, Kentucky and Indiana state's only challenge, the expectations have grown exponentially for this team. 3-1 we start off, though those 3 wins were all very close, all one-score games until we went through the final game of last episode, and it was a massive blowout from the Rams. 42-24. Now, we start off today with 2 divisional games, and we're going to get through the rest of the regular season. And the last bit of the regular season does not include much in terms of our divisional play. We finish against the Texans. We get our second game in week 13 against the Titans, and we're very quickly going to get through the Jaguars as second game is in week 6. We started off the season against them 14-13. So where I want to start off with is going through 2 very quick quarter sims, maybe get into a little bit of the fourth quarters, sim through week 7, and hopefully by week 8 we have enough information on our draft class to decide if we want to save our picks for that or make a trade. So let's immediately jump on into this Titans game and hopefully get back in the win column. Now, as we do get underway, it is a home game, though the Titans, they strike first. We drive, we get a field goal to end that first quarter. So 7-3, nothing too flashy. Titans immediately score. We get a stop, they drive, we get a stop, they drive, and they tack on a field goal and another field goal there before halftime. So they take a 20-3 lead. Not a promising first half for us. Offense going to do anything in this game. As we enter the fourth quarter, it's 23-3, so let's get through it then. Tennessee Titans holding well on, adding on to it, and we do not score a single touchdown in this one. That is 2 straight blowout losses. In this one, we had no touchdowns thrown by either party. Will Levis did throw an interception and only completed 59% of his throws. Running the ball, we struggled against Zeke, 2 touchdowns. Levis was actually our leading rusher. Not a good game from Kyron Williams. Just 2 yards per carry. Receiving-wise, he did a lot better there. Was actually the leading receiver in this game, though no receiver really stood out. Getting to the defensive side, there are a lot of tackles for a couple different players. Tackles for a loss. Khalil Mack had some, but none for us. Sack-wise, again, really nothing for us. We get half a sack from Valentine and Micah McFadden. Now from there, we'll just quickly jump into the Jaguars game, which they march down the field, get a score, but we answer, already outscoring our previous game. 7-7 at the end of the first. Get into the second. Another solid drive from the Jags. We stall. They hold on to that lead through halftime. 14-7 to start the third quarter. Though we drive, answer, they answer. And as we hit the fourth quarter, it is 21-14. So let's slow it down a little bit here. Jaguars pick up 9 with a first down carry. 2 goes to Lamar Jackson, 2nd and 8. They get 8, though 3rd and inches. They will pick up 5 in the first down with Kenneth Walker. Into plus territory and now down to the 11. And our defense make the big play here. Already down a touchdown. A little over 5 minutes remain here in the game. They got one tight end up top, the rest of the receivers down to the bottom. Jackson, clean pocket, misses his target who was wide open. So as the stats popped up, doesn't seem like he's done that too much today. 21 of 24. Making a check here as they're still down at the 11, looking for another throw. Jackson misses the same kind of throw. So we end up finding ourselves a little bit lucky then. 3rd and 10, going back to the same formation they had on first down. Jackson set the throw, and he finds his target, but it's knocked away. Number 32 in Gilman. So we will end up forcing a field goal attempt that still will make it a 2-score lead. Now we just really need our offense to put together a good drive as Will Levis starts with a throwaway. 12 yards goes to Devontae Parker. There was an injury. Accidentally skipped it. We pick up 7 more to Will Fuller. 27 to Westbrook Akine. That's down to the 29. Good enough for me. So now with just under 4 minutes left, we find ourselves in scoring range here. Need to come away with some amount of points. Going to be a roll pass. Gonna find his target, breaking away, staying on his feet, trying to get some more down inside the 15. I believe Westbrook Akine gets us down to the 13. 1st and 10. Got trips up top, one down to the bottom. Quick throw, Levis, and gonna be goal to go at the minimum as we find Tyler Higbee. First pickup for us in the fantasy draft. 1st and goal down to the 2. Levis set to throw, stepping up, he will scramble into the end zone. He's using his legs a little bit, and I appreciate it. Dual threat quarterback draws us back to a field goal game. But with just over 3 minutes, now under 3 minutes left, can we get that quick stop? Stop, loss of 2, though then we give up 14. That's definitely not going to help out. Starting to call our timeouts. Walker picks up 5. 2nd and 5, thrown away Jackson. That'll save a timeout. 3rd and 5. Can we get the stop here just before the 2-minute warning? The Jaguars get 20 to Marquise Brown. We have 1 timeout remaining as it's 3rd and inches. Again, we need the stop here, but that should just do it. So we start 0-2 this episode, taking us now down to 500 on this season. So a hot start, but a quick slowdown. Where do we go from here? Well, obviously where we need to begin is course correcting. After 3 straight losses, we see ourselves not only drop out of 1st, but also out of 2nd down to 3rd in the AFC South. The Titans, same record as us, though they obviously got that win against us. We played them, what did I say? I want to say week 12. Jaguars, we now have split that series, though they have a win over us, 4-2. So by no means is it anything crazy. We're still very much in the hunt here for the AFC South. But for our offense, who was already struggling to get going, we did suffer a big injury. Devontae Parker, our leading receiver, broken wrist in that last game. He's going to be out for the next 7 games. Now, we are 1 week back from getting Owosu Koromoa back on the squad. We haven't had him because he had I want to say it was a preseason injury. So he hasn't played yet. Going to be a massive increase for our defense, and hopefully that's going to help us really start to just get some plays on defense because we haven't gotten really any sacks, tackles for a loss, or any turnovers. It's kind of you lose one, but you get one. Now, in the next couple weeks here, we have the Cleveland Browns in week 7. We also have the Saints in week 8. So we have 1 more week to decide what we need to go after if we're going after anyone. And we are still pretty light on the information from our next draft class. Obviously, we don't really need the running back, so not someone I'm focused too much on. There are some offensive linemen, and Will Truman looks like, maybe he's got some ability. We, again, don't have much information, just the B pass block. The other guy, though, we have C lead block, or C impact and C run block, so Landon Scott's not very high on my board. So the only other options, there's a round 3 to 4 linebacker and Jackson Blackburn. We maybe could use some depth at that spot. Does have B block shedding. Don't know anything about the coverage, nor do we really trust it as an outside linebacker. The day 3 corners, they don't look like they're going to be very good for us. And we don't have that much information yet on the safeties, which is an area that we could potentially need some help at. We do have B zone coverage for both, and both are first round talents. But looking through the roster to find out where we do need help, I'm perfectly fine giving Levis his rookie year, letting us decide on if we need to make any moves in the offseason. Running back, I think Kyron Williams has been really good in games. Obviously had a little bit of a slow start in this episode. Receiver-wise, Rondale Moore, Parker's now out, so Wan'Dale Robinson's going to see a little bit more playing time. Charlie Jones, Westbrook Akine, and maybe even David Bell and Will Fuller see an increased role. Tight end-wise, I think this is a pretty solid group. Tyler Higbee, we're really going to need him to step up. Offensive line, we're pretty good. We maybe could use someone at guard. And eventually we're going to have some turnover there, but I don't think that's the immediate need we need to go after. We need some pass rush. I think we have 2 sacks in total this year. We're not getting any from our edge guys. Diaby, a rookie. Opposite side, we have Aquara. He's still not doing a whole lot. Now, at DT, this is a group I think we could definitely use some help for sure. Off-ball backers, McFadden, he's a young guy, want to see him develop. Bentley, solid guy. Then we're going to get back Owosu Koromora soon, so I don't think the linebackers need anything. Maybe a corner, that would always help. And the safeties I think are okay, though we could look at what our options are. Now, unfortunately, when it comes to the defensive line, interior at least, there is not much for us to do here. We actually have some of the best options we could possibly have. Where there are guys who could definitely come in and help immediately, well, there is Jair Alexander. In real life, kind of a little bit iffy, I feel like, of late, but in Madden, he's still a 94 rated corner, and that would be a massive jump for us. He's an X factor, and that means that it's going to be near impossible to trade for him. We just looked at the get offers. Falcons, they're not really looking at all. If we just wanted to toss up a first round pick just to get a gauge here, if we submit that, it's still extremely low. Now, one of the other options we have is that safety in Julian Love. He's an 82 normal dev. It would still be much higher than the other option that we currently have, but in a very similar way. We ask, they say that there's no trade package. We obviously still would want to see where we lie. So again, just putting up that first round pick, well, apparently that will just go ahead and do it. And with that, clearly we maybe could have given up a little bit less, but it is what it is. We brought in the best talent we possibly could, and that's going to be a pretty big jump, 8 overall, plus he's younger. Hopefully that's going to help out our defense a good bit, though that does mean we have to cut someone, and we don't need all of these safeties sitting on roster, so we'll be releasing Smith. Now, I did look at options as well for the offense, offensive line, receivers, and there really wasn't anything for us to do. So it's a small upgrade for us here. Maybe we'll have better opportunities in the future. But what year one seems to really be is a year of growth. So with that more or less being the case, let's shake up the lineup a little bit. Obviously, Levis still going to be our quarterback. We're going to move Rodriguez Jr. to the secondary running back spot. Rondale Moore is going to have to play some outside receiver. He doesn't have the release for it, but he's our highest rated receiver with the injury to Devontae Parker. We're also going to see Wan'Dale Robinson play a little bit. When it's the 2 receiver sets, maybe he'll be on the outside. We might shake it up a little bit. We're going to try to get Charlie Jones, I believe is his first name, out there a little bit more. Westbrook Akine more so fits the outside spot. Try to get Bell a little bit more playing time as well. So Fuller, Parker, they're the ones that are kind of be the odd ones out. Higbee's still going to be our primary tight end, though. We're going to move up Brock Wright over Smythe. Maybe that helps out his growth a little bit. As for the offensive line, 4 of the 5 stay the same, though Mustafa is going to come in over Saffold, who's in his 13th or 14th season. So let's get the young guy out there, get him developing. On the defensive side, really don't think there was much of a shakeup. We are going to get a Pashal, one of the two maybe, I don't know. We're going to get him in over the top of Aquara, who had been starting, hasn't recorded a single sack, so let's get someone else the opportunity. The cornerback group that is shaken up, Eccles and Valentine are going to be the primary 1 and 2. McLeod is that third option. He's also going to be playing slot. Now, obviously, we brought in Julian Love. He's going into the start for the strong safety. And once we get back Owosu Koromora, then he's going into the starting lineup for sure. He's also on the younger side. Also still keeps McFadden out there so he could develop. And the younger guys underneath them, they could just really be depth. That's kind of a good bit to change, and we still have a long season ahead of us. So let's get moving through the next couple weeks and see if this change actually helps us out. And that first one did not go all too well. 35-21, we lose to the Browns. And it took 14 points in the fourth quarter to even make it semi-close. So we are still struggling. Levis, 1 touchdowns, no interceptions, 59% completion, not very good there. Kyron Williams, though, a better game here. He did have 2 touchdowns, only 3.5 rushing. We struggled against Jahmyr Gibbs. How about receiving? We struggled against Kadarius Toney. Actually caught the ball in this one. Our best guy was Rondale Moore. Some solid numbers there. Wan'Dale Robinson also did pretty good. So at least the young guys, they're making some plays. Getting to the defensive side, Cam Jones, 14 tackles in that one, and what would be his final start. Tackles for a loss? Okay, there we go. Starting to get some. We actually picked up quite a bit in this one. How about sacks? We split another one again. Rankins and Jones. Interception? None. And unfortunately, we missed out on 3 points because Aubrey missed the kick. Now, we are pausing here in this week because we had a couple different teams come in for a trade. And with us now having Julian Love, we don't really need Mike Edwards. And the Jets as well as the Falcons are both coming in, putting in offers. KJ Osborne in a 4th. Sure, I would pick that up. Or even Shaq Griffin, we could do some help at corner. I would love to. But neither one of those players are from an eligible school. So I was curious if they had anyone else from an eligible school. And well, the Falcons, they do have Jair Alexander, but we saw what their interest was with a 1st-round pick. We're definitely not going to be bringing in Jair Alexander, at least for right now. So if we wanted to compare picks to help try to, go back to the Falcons, to try to recover what we had to give up, because I expected we would have to give up more than just a 1st round for Love, what would our options be? Well, I don't believe this safety is going to bring in a 13th overall selection from the Falcons. The Jets, not that far behind either at 17, though they also have the 20th pick. Doubt that that's something that they'd be interested in trading, but I'm curious. And they very much are nowhere close to seeing a 1st-round pick for Edwards, as expected, but just overall, it is a very low value there. So going back to the Falcons, who have the 45th pick in the 2nd round here, where do they view that? And it also is very low, so they just don't really want to offer much up from Edwards. So that just tells me that neither one of these teams views those 2 players very highly at all. Now, they even have KJ here in the 4th, but it didn't seem like we would get anywhere close to that in that menu. Something we could do would be to accept this trade here with the Falcons, and then we would just have to cut KJ Osborne, which would just send him straight to free agency. That just seems a little weird for me. So if they're not going to take the offers that we were looking at or show any sort of interest in those offers, we'll just move on with Mike Edwards as our backup, because you never know, injuries, they sometimes strike. But something that's definitely not striking for us is much of anything good. We would lose the next 2 games here. Saints 35-3, and then against the Panthers 28-18. At least we've put up some points in that one. But things are not looking very promising after that very promising start. Again, all those games were close, so maybe we're just making those little plays, and now we aren't. Now, we are here in Week 10 against the Patriots, and there's at least a little bit of some good news. We have a breakout opportunity for the young edge rusher in Yaya Diaby. Now, if he could get the job done, that would be fantastic. He's going to need either him by himself, get 1 tackle for a loss, sack, forced fumble, or interception, or just the defense as a general needs to hold the Patriots to less than 100 rushing. Can they get the job done? Well, they definitely wouldn't win the game. 28-14, we dropped yet another, and we gave up 136 rushing yards. So, Diaby, did you make the plays that we needed you to get this dev boost? Yaya Diaby. Down here, he had 4 tackles, 2 tackles for a loss, including a sack. So that should be the development trait for Yaya Diaby. Get him up to a star. So while the team in general is struggling, we could at least roll out the red carpet because Yaya Diaby has gotten that development trait. He is now that star. At least some positive here in what has been a pretty slow start to this episode. And as we're sitting roughly around the midway point of the season, it's looking pretty bleak. We have yet to win a game since week 3, a 7-game losing streak. And right now the Jaguars are well pulling away with the division. They are 8-2, the Titans and Texans both 5-5, and then us sitting way down here at 3-7. So we're going to get through the rest of this season rather quickly, but we're going to touch on the highlights where we can find them. And after just having the breakout opportunity for Diaby, now it is Micah McFadden, who unfortunately has seen his playing time regress due to us getting back Owosu Koromoa. But still, if he could find the opportunity here, and if the defense can help him out by just holding the Buccaneers to less than 250 yards, that would be great. Or McFadden himself will have to get a combination of one, so really just one, of an interception, forced fumble, tackle for a loss, or sack. Again, we're going to get through the season rather quickly, but let's see if McFadden can continue the stretch at least of breakout opportunities. And at least if he did, it would be in tradition of not winning the game itself. 31-17, we drop another one, and we gave up 427 yards of offense. So McFadden, once again, it comes down to the player themselves. Did they do enough? Let's see if we could find him here on the list. He's a good bit down, and he only recorded 1 tackle in this game. So unfortunately, McFadden not going to have the performance he was looking for to get that dev boost. Again, I just think it comes down to just lack of playing time as we got back JOK. And after several more weeks of just losing, the team would finally figure something out. Come week 15, a dominant win against the Steelers, 49-7. We put up 21 in the second, 14 more in the fourth. Overall, fantastic, great. Why could we not do this before? I have no idea. Will Levis maybe set a record for most touchdowns thrown in a game with 7? 69% completion, like it could have even been more. How about the rushing? Great game from Kyron Williams, 5 yards a carry. He didn't get in the end zone, but fine by me. Receiving wise, Rondale Moore had 3 touchdowns. Wan'Dale Robinson got in the end zone, and Durham Smythe, even though he's not really supposed to be out there that often, but sure, whatever. Where has this been the whole time? I have no idea. Tackles for a loss, Diaby had 2. Got a couple other ones put in through the group there. Bentley got a sack, the only one though. Interceptions, McLeod had 2, Valentine had 1, and Julian Love had 1. Great. Could we not have just spread this out throughout the season? Instead, all in 1 week. But as we are closing out this season here, let's see, we got 3 more games left. We've seen a bunch of games against the Falcons with the Panthers franchise, and even with the Saints with the Alabama State only challenge. Texans, we've seen them as well. So how about let's jump into this Raiders game and then wrap out the season. And we've had yet to really get into a full game yet so far this series, so let's start from the beginning in this one as the Raiders are out on offense. Looking for a throw. They find their target across the middle, breaking through the tackle, picking up the first of the ball, pops out, but it's recovered by the Raiders. Evans puts it on the ground, leaves it with a 2nd and 3 following the recovery. Close to a big play there for us. With that 2nd and 3, they go 2 up top, 1 down to the bottom. Hand it off this time, cut back towards the top, and that will be the first down for Najee Harris. Now, hopefully, this game will give us a good idea of where we specifically need to target in the offseason. Even though it's probably just going to be, as it kind of normally is, just bring up as many good talent as possible. But it also will kind of give us an idea of where these young guys are at who have been developing this year. Yaya Diaby kind of leading the defense here for us as he's finally getting around the edge. Got a couple of guys getting some pressure in on Purdy, forcing the throwaway. And that'll leave them with a 3rd and 3 in which they go back with a 2 set up top, 1 down to the bottom. Purdy, quick throw, has his target, though just off the mark. Defense will get the stop. And with that, we get to see Will Levis and this offense head out, and they look pretty decent last time out, last episode. However, today, not so much outside of that 7 touchdown day from Levis, and maybe that's why we're having problems. Williams doesn't even attempt to catch the ball there. If he did, maybe he shakes the tackle, gains some yards. Maybe would have been a tackle for a loss. Either way, gain of nothing. As he got one more up top here. Rest down to the bottom. We swing it back out to Williams. He'll get the catch in about 4. Now I am very curious to check the stats at the end of this game and end of the season just to see where we are at. We had a top 10 offense after the first 4 games. Curious to see how far that has fallen, though we do find more for the first down. Though at this point of the season, we should have back all of our receivers, so it should be a pretty healthy group. I haven't seen very many updates of injuries throughout the year as Kyren Williams picks up 6. And he was very impressive in that first episode, breaking tackles, making things happen. Are we going to continue to see that here? He does shake one, shakes a second, picks up that first down. We're seeing good things here, just clearly in the straight up sim games, we weren't getting very much of that. As it's 1st and 10, we got a bunch down the bottom, one up top. Levis looking to throw. He has his guy held on to Devontae Parker. Now, I was occasionally checking in on the stats from the games while getting through the weeks, and I can't really say that I've seen any particular one of these receivers really separate themselves as a pretty tight group, as now Aaron Banks, one of our younger offensive linemen, shaken up. He's going to have to actually leave the field with what appears to maybe be a forearm injury. It's either that or maybe wrist, perhaps. I'm sure we'll get an update at some point. Levis looking to throw. Off the mark from the diving receiver. But that should bring Saffold in to replace the injury of Banks. 3rd and 5, we come out with a heavy group here, though throwing. Levis, clean pocket, will find his target across the middle. A nice gain to the 24 is Higbee. I really hope his stats look great at the end of this year. Again, he was the first pick for us in the fantasy draft. Obviously, we had a limited selection, but still I hope he ends up panning out. We dump this one off. Kyren will get close to the first down, about a gain of 9. But very much he seems to be the lead guy here for this offense as we stick with the heavy looks here. All the tight ends down to the bottom. A little bit of some play action. Then dumping off to one of the tight ends. Is everyone wearing a captain's badge? That's kind of what it seems to be, because Smythe should not be a captain. He's been relegated down to tight end 3, at least it's supposed to, unless Madden changed my depth chart, which we all know it likes to do. But goal to go here. Toss towards the bottom, and some hesitation will be a loss of about 2.5 yards. And the whole purpose of the toss is to get outside quickly, find a lane, and hit it. We did not. 2nd and goal. We got a strong eye down the middle. Kyren will pick up the lost yardage and maybe tack on an extra. We'll force a 3rd and goal, in which we're going to come out with 2 up top, 1 down below. Levis throws it straight to the linebacker. Luckily, Barnes drops it. 4th and goal at the 7. And while we could surely come out here and take the field goal, why would we? We just have 4 wins on the season. Might as well try to get more. As we do not find more, we find instead opposite side Devontae Parker gives us a touchdown lead. And if the team can drive like that, can we just do that a little bit more often? Defense, let's get another stop here. Raiders start at the 25, go with a draw. Najee, nowhere to go. TFL loss of 2. And it does appear that everyone is wearing that captain's badge, or at least that's what I'm assuming it is. Maybe that's just part of the uniform here. Pass rush down the middle. We get a sack. It is Tillery. Last time I checked the stats, didn't see much from him, though that's been a little while. Hopefully, we've seen a lot more pass rush this second half of the season. As Purdy on the move, in the face, forces a wobbly throwaway. 4th and 22 to end the first quarter. And I don't believe the Raiders have had that bad of a season, though. It's a great start for us here. 7-0, a chance to grow our lead. We start with Kyren Williams, who gets stood up in the gap. Gain of 2. 6 rushes, 20 yards. Nothing crazy for him, but we've seen him do a lot with very little. 2nd and 8. 2 receivers up top. Levis, he's got to find somewhere to go. Pass rush does deliver a good one. Tyler Higbee holds on to it. I feel like I've seen some good flashes from Levis. He could be a quarterback for the future here. It all depends on how he does in future seasons. 3rd and 2. Kyren not holding on to it. Hit knocks it away. But again, we are keeping with that mentality of why not go for it. 4th and 2 at the 41. Looking for a weak side dive, turning it into more of a stretch. Kyron Williams to the outside. Big gain down to the 28, though. He took an awkward hit there, and despite getting into it with the player, he's actually a little bit shaken up. Something to do with that right leg. Hopefully, he just needs a little bit of that pickle juice and get right back out on the field. I mean, end of the season, you could get some cramps. As it opens up down the middle, that is Rodriguez with some space. At least it should have been. But instead they bring out Benny Snell. So it definitely appears like Madden has changed the depth chart a little bit. Either way, it's a great run. We're down to the 15 as we go spread empty here. 3 up top, 2 down below. Levis across the middle. Put that only where his guy was going to get it. Though his guy took a couple big shots and Robinson still down on the field. Will eventually get up and head off. Hopefully he's okay. He's another promising young player for this team. We go with a spread, not a spread, opposite, heavy look as we go up top. Kyron fighting down to the 1. Honestly, no idea where the spread even came from. Clearly, that was a very heavy set. A heavier shotgun look here. 2 tight ends up top, 2 receivers below, and Kyron will finish off the drive. We take a 2-score lead here. The team is showing great promise. Let's just keep it up. Honestly, even the defense looking really good despite very much not having that many key guys. Safety group I think we're good at. Starting linebackers we're good at, but everywhere else could use a better throw than that for sure from the Raiders. Brock Purdy well off the mark. But as I was saying, every other group for us definitely could see some help for sure. Corners, defensive line, major weaknesses. As we slow him down and get a quick stop, maybe about a gain of 1. And we have another opportunity here to get off the field quickly. 3rd and 9, still back at the 21. A little bit of some play action. Purdy's got time, stepping up. He's got space with the first down. He takes the contact, though not as much as Wan'Dale Robinson took earlier. Oh, you can hit a receiver. You can't really hit a quarterback, at least without getting flagged. 1st and 10 for him up at the 32. Or I guess still back at the 32 is how that would technically work. Either way, it's a 1st down for him as Najee looking for another, and they give it to him. About an extra half a yard on that run. Really the only run today to do much there for the Raiders. They stick with a heavy look on 1st and 10. Now at the 42. Will be a throw. Purdy going up top. He has Evans this time with another 1st down. 3 plays in a row. Hopefully we can put a stop to that rather quickly. Now into plus territory at the 44. They got a bunch down to the bottom. Brock across the middle. He's got his guy. Not a 1st down, but a gain of 8. They definitely seem to be catching their groove here. Now 2nd and 2. Do they go to the run game here? No. RPO. So half. Instead, the throw will pick it up much easier. Purdy finds Drake London for the short, quick gain. 1st and 10 for him, now down to the 32. Got 2 tight ends at the bottom. Brock will go to one of those, who will pick up another about 7 yards. That's probably about what they're averaging on this drive so far per play as we hit the 2-minute warning. They need some points before halftime. Haven't done much so far in this game. And they'll come out with 2 up top, 1 down below. Purdy with Harris next to him. Looking for a quick throw and through the hands of Drake London. Perhaps he heard the footsteps. Leaves him with 3rd and 3. Still 2 up top. Tight end also up there. Purdy in the pocket. Going down to the bottom. And they pick out Harris with the 1st down. And that'll get him inside the red zone for the first time today. Bunch up top for Purdy. Evans lone to the bottom as he will swing it all the way up top. Going for one of their tight ends. Quick tackle, gain of 3. Now would be a great time to see some of the young pass rushers do something. 2nd and 7. Will be another throw. Brock Purdy in the pocket. Here comes that pass rush. Forces the throwaway as Yaya Diaby shaken up on the play. Quite a lot of injuries here happening in this one. 3rd and 7. We got a double A gap. We send the blitz. Quick rush around the edge. There is the sack we were looking for. We'll force a field goal attempt, leaving us some time to try to get some points here before halftime as the field goal is good. Well, that will leave Will Levis and this offense a minute 18. 2 timeouts remaining to try to get some points here before half. We come out with trips to the left-hand side, and I'm going to man this drive just so we try to, well, manage the clock as Levis, he leaks out to the left-hand side and will get out of bounds. Not the fastest, but a gain of 20 is a gain of 20. And I'm sure the Raiders defense not expecting the big Will Levis to scramble like that. Not as athletic as Allen, but I would say a great value version. As Williams, halfback screen, gain of 7 apparently, and up out of bounds. Felt like that was a little bit closer to a gain of 8, but not that big of a difference. I'll take it. Second and 3, 2 to the right-hand side, 1 to the left. They don't bring anyone extra, though pass rush does arrive. Levis will dive forward. We're well into plus territory. I'll say well into plus territory. We're in plus territory now, not having taken much time off the clock. Still have a 40 seconds and counting. As we look for just someone to come open across, there we find Jones, Charlie Jones, I believe. First catch, at least while we've been out here. First down, 32 with 35 seconds. And that lets us catch our breath here for 1st and 10. Tight single back look as we try to flood one side of the field. Not much opening up here. Someone going to come make a play? No. Get rid of it. No gain. Still waiting on one of these receivers to really shine. We got more to the left-hand side. Parker Jones and Higbee to the right. Williams out of the backfield as well. As we go across the middle, there is Devontae Parker. Will get us a short gain. We'll call our first timeout there. Now on 3rd and 3, we do need at least the first down here, though. We could look for something more. They shift the safety over the top, rotate a corner to the safety spot. That might open some things for us across the middle. There is Rondale Moore, who gets the juke on the corner and is into the end zone. We widen our lead just before half. A great drive there, manned by Will Levis. And what's even better is we, again, widen that lead, but going through halftime, we get ball to start. Already up 21-3. Can we just add more on to it? Levis trying to buy some time. He rolls, finds his target, held onto Kyren Williams. I've said it several times in this game. This team can make the plays, but for some reason, they fell off after week 3. Starting to find their groove a little bit again here late in the season, but quite too late. With 1 game left after this one, we are well out of playoff contention, though just looking for some positivity to take us into the offseason. Will Levis looking for a throw here, rolls, finds Kyren, who takes a shoulder. Big hit from 32. Well, very much we're getting Kyren Williams well involved in this offense. Will Levis, he's looking pretty solid as well for a mid to low 70s quarterback. Good catch there, Parker. Get the first down again. He will. Up to the 44. Or actually, he gets us into plus territory, so down to the 44. As it's a little bit of some play action. Levis, just settle your feet. Look for the deep ball. He has his guy. It's Parker again. Down to the 10. Though not goal to go. About a centimeter prior to the goal line for a first down. We go Kyren, who picks up a good block from Higbee, cuts and does not get in. I don't know about that spotting. Let's try to get it back to him here. I mean, yeah, that spotting was well off. It was definitely closer to the goal line. Let's go back to Kyren here. Let's finish off the drive. Williams, touchdown, as he gets ran over, pretty sure by his center. We will widen this lead even more. And with this one starting to seem not really well in hand, but a pretty good hold on the game. 28-3. We're going to move forward a little bit quicker here. Drake London picks up a nice first down for him. 8 back to Najee. 5 for Drake London as they're well in plus territory now. Still moving pretty smoothly here. 3rd and 4, 27. Gets them down inside the 10, and Harris will polish it off. So they finally find their first touchdown coming just before the end of the 3rd quarter. Make it 28-10. We still hold a nice lead. Charlie Jones picks up 11 and another 11. Getting everyone involved in this one. Kyren Williams losing 3. Come on now. You'll pick up the 3 and then add on a 4 for 3rd and 9 to start the 4th quarter. What do we do here? 5 for Kyren Williams. Too far for a field goal yet. I feel too close to punt. So let's look for the dagger here, or at least it might feel like that. 4th and 4, got trips to the right-hand side, more loan to the left. Just need those 4 yards. Higbee, he's got it. First down for us at the 38. Let's finish off this drive. Would love to see a nice pop shot, or honestly, just let the clock continue to run here. One of the two, nothing in between. As we motion over, that's Horvath, the fullback. Follow the lead blocks. Kyron Williams will pick up an extra 3. 2 touchdowns for him on the day, 16 carries, 60 yards. Though he's also got well involved in the receiving game as well as total probably close to 100. For 2nd and 7, go back to Kyron, and that is going to be another first down for him, and that should definitely put him over 100 total on the day. But I'm very happy with the running back group for us. Tight end group is solid. Might need some help for the offensive line as we move forward. Receivers, maybe a little bit of some help as well as Kyron breaks off another first down. But the key guys on this team are just really showing that they are those key guys. And that's the big thing. Even Will Levis looking really solid. As we go back to Kyron here, just letting the ground and pound game work. Though probably as I say that with how Madden typically does, we're going to go with a pass here. No, we do stick with a run. Kyron Williams with the hat trick, the receiver downfield block 2 as it sends Kyron Williams back into the end zone. And that will just go ahead and conclude the game here. Raiders did tack on a garbage time touchdown, but so much good in that game. 35-17 the final score. Makes you wonder where that play has been all year. But again, that was great to see before we head into our first offseason, because there are some dudes on this roster. Oh, despite all of the great games we watched this team play, those were really the only wins that we got this year. We end season 1 5-12, nearly the opposite record of the Jaguars, who won the division 13-4. But there is, again, just so much promise here. I think we got a solid group to build upon. And as I said, I want to finish off with the stats. And yeah, the offense definitely dropped off. They were 10th, now down to 26th. Defense, I want to say, was 23rd, down to 31st. So in total, the team definitely dropped off for most of that season, though we saw them step it up later on. Will Levis ends his rookie year with 3,500 passing yards, 21 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, though the difference in between the touchdowns to interceptions, those 7 touchdowns all came in one game. So that tells you really the true story of Will Levis's rookie year. There was some really good games, some pretty bad games, 62% completion, and Bailey Zappi, he threw 1 pass this year. It was caught 5 yards, so good for him. Rushing, Kyron Williams, over 1,000 yards, 15 touchdowns this year. He averaged 4.4 yards rushing. Great. Will Levis even did really good running the ball. He didn't fumble at all this year, which is also really good. 4 touchdowns for him to add to his total. So a total of 25 yards with 400 rushing yards. That actually puts him very close to 4,000 total on the season. As for the other running backs, Benny Snell did get 2 touchdowns. Rodriguez, not much from him whatsoever. Receiving wise, Rondale Moore did go over 1,000, 5 touchdowns. Devontae Parker, a lot less, but he was also injured for a long portion of the season. He had 5 touchdowns. Tyler Higbee was our 3rd receiver. Only 3 touchdowns, 521 yards. I would have wanted a little bit more from him, but I still think he could be solid moving forward. Wan'Dale Robinson, pretty solid for a rotational player at best, though he did see some, actually a pretty good amount of playing time with Parker was injured. Chris Jones, all right, we got a touchdown for Kyron Williams. Brock Wright got 2, and Smythe had 1. As for the offensive line, Ronnie Stanley, our highest rated player on the team, he gave up 12 sacks this year. George Fant, who is, I want to say 13 overall lower than Stanley, he gave up 10. So maybe a little concerning there. Fortner, who I think was a rookie, if not in his 2nd year, because we're now in our offseason-ish, so I don't know if that experience went up yet or not. Does anyone here say rookie? Okay, it does have rookie for Patterson. So 2nd-year player in Fortner, 7, not bad. Banks, 3rd year, not bad. And Mustafer, who was the younger guy we put in later on instead of Saffold, who didn't give up any sacks in his playing time, not bad either. Still could look for maybe a little bit more from this group. Defensively, Bentley 134 tackles, well up there, including Iwosu Koromoa, who missed, again, half the season, and he already had 83 tackles. He could have been very close to Bentley as well, if not more. Tackles for loss, Rankins 18, Yaya Diaby 16. We did well in stopping the run, though it doesn't look like we picked up a lot of sacks. Paschal, someone correct me on that pronunciation, I'll also Google it. 14, Tillery with 12. Our sack leader was Rankins, and he had 2 of those within the first, I think, 2 games. So we just weren't getting very many sacks. It was Paschal who led us for the edge rushers. Diaby right behind him by half a sack. Just not much from that group, unfortunately. McLeod led us in interceptions with 3, Valentine and Love both with 2, JOK with 1, as well as McFadden. So all of those came in around the second half of the season, so we started to pick things up there. Forced fumbles, we had 2, JOK and Bentley. Of those 2, we recovered 1. Now, kicking-wise, not a bad year for Aubrey. He missed 2 kicks on the full year. That is doable for sure. Punting, Newsome, all right, 10 down within the 20, 10 touchbacks, so 50-50 on his punts with a decent net per punt. Hit a long of 70, that's actually pretty impressive. Did we happen to have any kick returns? No and no. So while in total the year pretty disappointing, after the 3-1 start, we then went to lose, I don't know, 10 or so games in a row. We got one against the Steelers, we dropped one, then we got one against the Raiders, then we dropped week 18 against the Texans. So a little bit of some hit or miss in there for sure. The good guys look good. The other guys, backups. So we got to fill out the roster, and hopefully we can find ourselves some good moves in free agency and then see what we could do in the draft. We'll talk about the prospects and all that next time. So do not miss out, as we'll have the full off season. And I'm toying with just doing half the season for next year. I really liked the way it kind of panned out for us with season 5 of the Alabama State Only Challenge, where we split the season. Felt like that gave us a lot more intrigue, so we might do that again next time. Let me know your opinions on that, but either way, we will be having the full off season and get into game action next time. So do not miss out. Hit that bell icon on the bottom right or scroll down and hit the sub button. They both do the exact same thing. And if you also tip the bell icon, you'll be notified of when these videos go live. This series every single Wednesday and Saturday. We also have the Panthers traditional franchise every single Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. That one we play every single game. It's a normal franchise. So if you like that action too, make sure you join over there. And we'll see what we have in store for us next time. Again, the good looked good, the bad looked rotational. Let's try to add a few more pieces and get this team over the hump and compete with the Jaguars and Texans, who are the top 2 teams this season.